Welcome into the Game Plan, presented by the Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn.
Welcome to the Game Plan. I'm Logan Paulsen here with a man that needs no introduction. That's Coach Dan Quinn, and we're in the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. And Coach, Merry Christmas, man.
Merry Christmas, man. It's what a cool thing to be playing on Christmas. I've done it a few times, but to be a standalone game, that's a really big deal, man. To bring Christmas in all over the world, like that's awesome.
Is it? So you've done it before, and how is it getting all the guys ready to go on Christmas Day and the whole thing?
Yeah, I think like there's a cool element to that knowing that people are watching, and for me growing up, those days of the holidays, whether it's Christmas or Thanksgiving, and seeing a game and everybody's together and you're watching. So I know that's going on, at a lot of families and a lot of homes, and so to get to be the ones that are watching, I guess not lost on us.
And I think it's awesome that we're playing a team that we know really well.
Yep.
Big-time rival, Dallas Cowboys. The second matchup is always a little bit different, and it's around Christmas. Like, how you feeling about the ball game?
Yeah, just going in, division games are always a blast, man.
Yeah.
So we had 4 going into this, right in a row, from Giants, Philly, Dallas, and back to Philly. And so I love the energy, that the guys have brought in the first 2 parts of those matchups, 1-1 as we're sitting in that 4-game tournament. But playing against Dallas, familiar opponent, how we want to get down, the important parts of the game, and then having it here at home, obviously that's a big deal.
And again, like they kind of played you guys a little bit differently than they had played before. Like, how much do you weigh that first game versus like what they've been the last couple of weeks? Like, balance that out.
Yeah, you have to look strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
Where are they? And this just from playing. There's a couple things that are going to be different.
Yeah.
Both teams have some new wrinkles that maybe they didn't show the first game or did something different off a similar look. So it's part of the strategy that goes on. I think it gets elevated in the division games.
Absolutely. And a guy that's been elevating the past couple of weeks is Bobby Wagner, man. Like, slowly ticking up that tackle chart, almost at 2,000, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
How has it been? You knew him when he was this big.
Yes.
And now, how is it seeing him now when he's on the verge of that great milestone?
Yeah, it's really cool. And the reason why, man, is this a person that puts in work. And I've always got a special spot for a competitor like that is just never backing off, Logan. And he just always sets a high standard, always going after it. He's as tough as they come. And so to be in that kind of rare air of tackling, I think it's one of the coolest things, and I'm certain he'll get it.
I mean, he might get it this year, which would be fantastic, right? He's like 15 away, so and he's been playing this. And that's the other thing I want to ask you. It seems like over the last 2 weeks, he's just played better and more confident, and in games that, like, when the guy is leading that way with that level of energy, it gives me chills just thinking about it, quite frankly.
To see some of the big tackles he made and the excitement, the enthusiasm that he comes up with. He has a big hit against the Giants on 3rd down, big sack in this one. Just that kind of emotion that he shows from the stoic person, like, it lifts everybody up. And like I said, his square tackling ability, especially in between, in the tackle box, man, it's rare. And we're all fortunate to get a chance to coach him and learn from him. And so, man, let's go battle. Yeah,
so obviously old guy Bobby Wagner, and then some young guys playing really well. Mikey Sanders still comes to mind, has this dynamic play to start the game off. How cool is it that one of your starting defensive players is making a play on teams for you?
Yeah, it's important. And if you play on defense, you're ready to play on special teams. We knew how important the ball was going to be in this game. And so offensively, from a ball security standpoint, then defensively and on teams, the ability to go take it. But I thought Mike took the ball away.
Yeah.
There's a difference between a muffed punt or something. You had to go take it away. And another Bruin had to fight for this scrum.
Kane,
so
right?
Long.
Let's give him some love, right?
It was one of the longest scrums that he had it and wasn't giving it up. And so, like, even at the end, they were not pulling him off. He was not giving that ball up.
Well, it's funny. I was standing on the sideline, and I was like, he's got it, obviously.
Yes.
But it's one of those things that takes so long. You're like, well, who's got it now? And so
he was not backing off, man. And so, like, it was easily felt like a minute, just nope, not giving it up. Like, guys on top trying to roll off, nope, not giving it up. So
that's fantastic.
Showed a lot of pride about how important it is, and like he was not going to back off for his team.
That's fantastic. And then, Mikey's the guy that, obviously great play on teams, but I think played outstanding on defense. Big tackle and a nice cover two, pass breakup. Like, what have you seen from him on the perimeter? And maybe for fans at home, like, how is it different from what he's been doing in the slot, though?
Yeah, one of the things I've seen, I think the cover two one's an example, is how he's able to use his vision from the outside now I can see routes, I can see the quarterback, and so for him being off some as opposed to playing down, Logan, I think that's a big deal for him.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's just fun to watch him. And he's got a big challenge this week with Dak Prescott, who's, I don't know, to me he's playing like a top 5 guy in the NFL.
100%.
Like, how do you get the guys ready to go, and how do you kind of try to disrupt a really fantastic player?
Yeah, the offense is absolutely ripping, with Pickens and CD
Yeah.
and Turpin and obviously Dak, at the front of it. I think it would appear one of his very best years in terms of throwing the ball and the accuracy to go. And so it'll take our best performance for sure.
And you mentioned all the skill position guys they got. Like, Pickens just seems to kind of have reached a new level. What have you seen from him, and like what makes him so dangerous?
I think you've seen like his route tree grow as the season's gone, where early in the season, CD was running some of the over routes, as beating, the cover 3 and match teams. And then all of a sudden now you saw Pickens do it, running through, cover 2 to find some spaces to get open. So it's been impressive. Both of them are, but now that there's more routes for him that you see, it makes it considerably tougher.
Yeah, I bet. And a guy that, obviously they have good receivers. We have good receivers. Terry, every time he's on the field, just consistently shows up. What have you seen from him? Again, like just his ability to kind of make that explosive play, make that big play when you need, like that clutch gene.
Yes.
How awesome is that, Ben?
That's a great way to say it, because he does have that. There's an explosive play to be made and one, to go over the top. That's, to me, Terry.
Yeah.
And, we'll need that again, for certain versus Dallas to make those kind of big plays and get in the end zone for sure.
Yeah.
That's what's going to take in this game. Unlikely going to be a 3-3 game, with guys like Terry and CD and Pickens and Dak and others. So it'll be a great battle.
And a guy that I've really enjoyed watching the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to be a nerd here, Coach, is Traylon Burks.
Yes.
Not because of the receiving stuff, but because he seems to be throwing it down as a blocker, which to me says just shows his passion for the team and passion for this opportunity. It's got to be great to watch him every week.
Yeah, the competitiveness. I think that's what stands out, Logan. You submit practice. He wants to return every punt. He wants to return every kick. But that speaks to who he is and how he wants to compete in the blocking. So his toughness with and without the ball. And if you can do that and find your own marks, to make your impact, I think that's a really cool thing.
And a bunch of guys that have benefited from not only Traylon's blocking, but the offensive line as the running back group. And again, Bill Krosky-Merritt scores another touchdown. Kind of just giving us a taste of how great he can be.
Yep.
How do you feel about his development? And I guess what is Anthony Lynn's role in his development?
Yeah, and I think the thing that you've seen, like how much studying is going in. If you came in Wednesday morning on their first day, our Wednesday, like who was already calling out the code words, who was already calling out the section, it was Bill. It's like this is a guy that is putting in work, and so other people have come to trust him and know him. And there's a guy that's doing the extra and wants to demonstrate that.
Dude, it's so fun to watch him. And it's so fun to watch Chris Rodriguez, too.
Yes.
Again, they kind of complement each other well. Like, there's this explosive player and then a little bit more physical downhill.
Yep.
And, again, Chris's story is so unique because it's up from practice squad, down, back up.
Yep.
Like, it's got to be fun to root for a guy like that.
Yeah, when you see somebody have an opportunity and they're just not going to miss it. That was him. I'm going to be in the right shape. I'm going to be in the right spot. When he came to training camp, he said, okay, this is somebody that you can count on. And so his ability to lift others is also really impactful. So I couldn't imagine being a rookie and being in a better spot than Bill is with two veterans like Chris and Jeremy just to constantly bring him and help develop him. And I think that speaks a lot of who they are, not just as ball players, but as teammates.
And so for that running back spot, what's the hardest thing for those young guys to pick up? I know people say protection quite a bit. Is that the thing I
would say that. And the case for Bill was taking what's there. So often I can make this big play, I can make this big play. And so make sure, press the gap, then make the cut. And so take what's there. Sometimes the 3-yard run, that's the 3-yard run. But if you're cutting back too early or not making the right read, so don't press it. Take what's there and be aggressive. And he's learned to do that for sure. And
I can't wait to watch these guys run against this Dallas defense. Obviously, they've had some additions, kind of big trades. Quentin Williams is there.
Yes.
What have you seen from him? Again, he's kind of one of these guys that kind of skates under the radar, but very, very talented football player.
I think when you put him and Osa Digizua together, the disruption that can happen, from Quinn upfield pressure.
Digizua is the same way, right?
Yeah, he can penetrate, disrupt, and so the two of them together have been a handful. In fact, they use Kenny Clark and do some 5-down.
That's right, yeah.
And so when you have those, you add that to the group, and definitely a challenge for sure. And Quinn not being there in the first game, but man, he's made his impact felt for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, my favorite part of the show is watching film. Why don't we pop in the film room real quick?
Let's do it.
Always great sitting down with Coach. Now let's get to our Prime Player, brought to you by DC Prime, Boston's premier steakhouse. For dinner reservations or private dining, call 703-840-2099. This week's Prime Player is future Hall of Famer linebacker Bobby Wagner. In our Week 16 NFC matchup versus the Philadelphia Eagles, Bobby led the defense with 10 total tackles, 1 sack, 1 quarterback hit, and 2 tackles for loss. Bobby is chasing a major NFL milestone. He's only 15 away from joining Ray Lewis and my guy London Fletcher as the only players with 2,000 career tackles. What legendary company? Congrats to Bobby. Now we're headed to break, but coming up, Coach and I head into the film room to break down some Commanders highlights. And later on, we continue Countdown to Kickoff. We'll be back right after the break.
The Game Plan is presented by the Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. And by the Maryland Lottery Fast Play Games. Play fast, win fast today. Please play responsibly.
Welcome back into the Game Plan with Dan Quinn, presented by Salisbury University. It's time for Film Study, sponsored by the Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. Let's go, Coach. Coach, man, not the result you wanted against Philly, but I think there was a lot of fun things to talk about from this game. And let's start with this first one. This is a cover 2. But again, when I was watching from the sideline, man, you got me a little bit, right? We got this guy running in man-to-man coverage, and I was like, it's got to be man. Yep. And then lo and behold, little wool over the eyes of the quarterback here.
Yeah, a little man zone ID. So we wanted to, show that the corner was traveling to get all 3 of the corners over to one side and showing a little double-A blitz. And I thought the key to this one was Wagner, the width that he pushed from the A-gap all the way out. That allowed this to, change on the snap. And then, man, he really has to haul ass to get outside to go work, into the curl.
And again, this is kind of like a little stick concept here with, he's kind of maybe a choice kind of concept. But in cover 2, the wider you can push him, right, to Mikey, who's going to have eyes inside after the reroute, that makes this throwing window a little bit smaller, a little bit tighter. That's right. And again, on a 3rd and 7, every inch matters, right? So for him to get back in here and make this tackle is outstanding.
Yeah, it was a good tackle by Mike. Just got his eyes back around quickly after the reroute. And this is a big 3rd down stop for us early in the game.
Yeah, and again, like you mentioned, the eyes back around. Look at the width he's able to create here on the go, right? Giving the safety an opportunity to make the play while also being about his work. And, Mikey's not a big guy, Coach.
Yep.
But this was a big guy hit.
This was a big guy hit.
And it gets me a little bit juiced up. Big moment. Everyone on the sidelines juiced up, man. It's a big moment here.
Yeah, those are the kind of 3rd down stops when the motion's happening. You're like, all right, this is the one. And so you can see how excited everybody is.
Everyone was great. And so, again, Mikey, kind of was a guy that popped up a lot in this game. To me, this looks like it's some type of 3 deep, 4 underneath, 3 deep, 4 underneath. So we're going to get our 3 deep right here, boom, boom, across. And Mikey's playing top down on A.J. Brown, who's one of the best receivers in the NFL. They're trying to run a little bit of a dig here, a little pull concept up and in, maybe dagger to the flat. And great job by him.
Yeah, you're thinking, outside the numbers, what kind of in-breaking route that could take place. Certainly with the motion going out, man zone IDs again, but these guys have got great speed. And I thought Mikey being off, used his vision, could see the route, could see the QB. And then the best part of using his hands, no foul, just making a good 3rd down.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that sticks out, man. Is AJ, he ran by me on the sideline. I was like, that looks like a tight end. And Mikey's not a big guy, but for him to, again, with the right technique, make the play is outstanding.
Yeah, I thought that was one of his 2 of the better 3rd down stops of the game for sure.
Yeah, and I love how you mentioned that, when you're getting this outside motion, I didn't even think about it, but that's where you get good defensive coaching, right? And when you motion out, it's probably going to be an inbreaker, right? So because of the formation, you kind of have the answers to the test a little bit there, right?
And that's him looking at the film study and knowing what to expect, and then being able to break. And this is a really, really good receiver. So on that in-breaking route, he's caught a lot of those for 1st down. So that's a really big play.
Yeah, and again, 3rd and 11, missed the field goal. Big play, right? Every blade of grass matters. And so another guy that's really shown up in a big way every single week, man, is Terry with this kind of, this inside release go route that he's become so good at. And you get them to the field, the way they play their match coverage, like we just talked about, the safety's going to get eyes here. They're basically going to be in a man-to-man coverage situation. And Terry just does what Terry does.
Yeah, that was good play design by the coaches, put the formation into the boundary, create some space up on the top. And that was good pass protection, too, here, Logan, to know, okay, we're going to take a shot, take it up the field where there's some space, and then Terry really accelerating to go. And Marcus just threw an absolute dime. But getting on top and that ability to track, that's what makes Terry so unique.
It's the tracking ability, man, that really shows up. Because, like, right here, it's like, you know, there's some times where it's like, oh, that's 50-50. But with Terry, you're like, nah, man, that's probably 80-20, right?
Yeah, definitely not 50-50.
So, yeah, great to see him make that play. Huge moment. And love the execution, love design. I love this, too, Coach. This is one of those things that gets me fired up. So you're in, like, this 5-man front here. You're kind of forcing a 5-0 call from the offensive line. They're going to probably do – that's a tight end. But here we go, kind of out like this, 5-man protection. You run a little bit of a stunt and get Bobby running scot-free up the A-gap, man. And for a guy that is, how old is he, 34 years old?
Yeah, I don't know, but he's 250-some pounds. And so when he blitzes, like, you feel it.
You feel it, right? You feel it. That's exactly right. But love the design and love the execution here by Bobby.
Yeah, so I thought, you know, different ways to bring. We've, you know, leaned into more, you know, playing McGee and playing some, you know, 4 downs and 3 backer packages. And so having this ability for him to blitz inside, McGee off the edge, Luvu off the edge, it's a big deal for us.
Yeah, and again, like getting into this kind of zone drop here, the guard's eyes have to go with the looping guy, and it's just the timing, the execution, and like you said, Bobby getting downhill. Little chicken wing's not going to work on him, get through here, and then just to finish the play, man, was good stuff.
Relentless. When he gets his arms on you, man, you feel that 34.5-inch length all the time. It's rare, his tackling ability, whether it's in line, a quarterback, anybody. When he gets his mitts on you, like
it's going down, right? Yeah, absolutely. So again, another guy that's kind of popped up for us the past couple of weeks is Traylon Burks.
Yes.
And this is again one of those another opportunity for a well-designed play here by Cliff in the offense, because they're going to run kind of a super dagger concept here, right? So they're going to go across, and again, like we talked about, they kind of match this from the backside. But when we've got speed, it's going to clear out, and then Traylon's going to be able to slip right in here on this dig concept.
Yeah, similar to what we just saw from Philadelphia.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right.
Just a little different way to do it, but the big, strong, you know, receivers on in-breaking routes. And I think what this clip shows, Logan, is length. And
oh my gosh,
the extension to go to make this catch. And that's another guy with great length, and not everybody can make this catch. So running right through it, using his length. And a great ball, honestly, by, you know, Marcus, just a rip inside some defenders.
Fantastic to see that. I mean, and again, it's good to get playmakers kind of showing up and competing every down. Like, it's a big deal. And then this one is one of my favorite plays from the game, Coach, because you talked about him earlier, and it's McGee here. And this is a receiver. He's very fast. He's going to run to the perimeter. And it almost looks like Jordan's faster than him, right, which is great to see.
And so this one, man, you see the tracking ability. And, he's been, you know, trained and watched one of the very best. But he just continues to make his plays and make his mark. And this is a receiver who's got real speed to go. And so Jordan sees it, identifies it, and then, man, from there, the tracking takes place. And a lot of energy brought right there.
Yeah, love it, Coach. Great to see it. Can't wait to watch you guys play here on Christmas Day. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're ready to roll.
Shout out to Coach for that film study. Now let's get into our winning numbers brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly. And those winning numbers are from Chris Rodriguez. In his return, C-Rod led the way for running backs with 15 carries for 63 yards and a touchdown. He sliced through the Eagles defense for his 5th touchdown of the season and his 4th in his last 6 games. We all love seeing C-Rod back on the field for Washington. Now let's take a look at more of our upcoming competition. It's time for Competitive Edge, brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official partner of the Washington Commanders. Here's a look at some of the numbers from Washington and their upcoming competition. Washington enters Week 17 coming off a 29-18 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. This was the second of Washington's 4 games against NFC East opponents. The Commanders will look to flip the script and steal this Christmas game back at home versus quarterback Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. With the Cowboys' 34-17 loss to the Chargers, they have been eliminated from the playoffs for the 2nd season in a row. But Dak Prescott has been elite. The Dallas offense has been sitting atop the league and will be a tough task for our Washington secondary. The Commanders will look to finish strong at the last home game at Northwest Stadium for the year. Now we've got to go to break, but be sure to stick around, Commanders family, because Coach and I will be right back to count down to kickoff and talk more about this Week 17 matchup. Welcome back into the Game Plan with Dan Quinn, sponsored by the Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. It's time for your must-watch moment, presented by Marsh McLennan Agency. This week's must-watch moment comes from our special teams unit on the first play of the game. This Saturday, Commander Special Teams came ready to play. On the opening kickoff, cornerback Mikey Sanderstill punched the ball loose, and rookie linebacker Kane Medrano came up with the fumble recovery. Washington capitalized off the excellent field position, leading to a field goal. Our special teams continue to be special. Now it's time for our countdown to kickoff, presented by SeatGeek. The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek. Coach, obviously Christmas Day, huge rivalry. Like, what's the level of emotion for you heading into today's game?
I think when the schedule came out and you saw that one,
yeah,
and you wanted to circle it knowing that was a standalone game. And so to know us in Dallas on Christmas, for this one to be seen, you know, all over, in houses all over America, all over the world, like, what a cool honor, man. And then to add a division game into it where stakes are raised a little stronger, a little higher, of two teams that like to battle one another, man, like, it's one of the coolest feelings.
And so is there a managing of emotions in this game for the guys? Because I remember, like, the divisional games for us were always crazy big, and it was almost like the coach had to be like, hey, guys, you know, like, pick your spot here.
Yes.
Like,
and all of that goes around this one. Like, think of all the families that are in town for this game.
Yes, that's right,
And,
that's right.
So all of that you have to manage and make sure that everything's peaking, you know, so when it gets to Thursday at 1 o'clock, man, we absolutely let it rip.
Dude, I can't wait to watch it, Coach. Merry Christmas to everyone at home.
Merry Christmas.
I'm Logan Paulsen, Dan Quinn, and that's going to do it for today's show. The Game Plan. Make sure to check us out next week.
The Game Plan, sponsored by Salisbury University, was filmed at the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. Big Bear AI offers mission-ready AI for a rapidly evolving world, proudly protecting the Washington Commanders and its fans.